Run the numbers. My name is Jason. We're doing one of the videos in our warm-up segment of the Run the Numbers channel. This is also part of one of the 100 videos in 100 days, the video challenge that I've just kind of assigned myself as a way to get more, force myself to get more content out, and hopefully all that makes it beneficial to you because you're following along to learn some of the tips and tricks and thoughts related to personal finance and entrepreneurship and wealth and philanthropy and all the things we talk about money related. And today is actually a good topic. It's probably one of the more quick, shorter ones of something that isn't all that discussed, isn't too well known out there, but it's something to take advantage of, and that is piggybacking on someone else's credit or allowing someone else to piggyback on your credit, and why you might do that or why you might allow that being done. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that and the whole kind of process to allow and possibly be allowed as an authorized user on a credit card as a way to kind of find something of a hack in the system for boosting up credit score. So let's get right into it, since I've kind of alluded to kind of what all this is, and provide something of an example. So a very common example is for a parent to allow one of their children, or maybe even all their children, to piggyback on their good credit. So what kind of goes unsaid here is that hopefully the person who's authorizing a user on their credit card, the parent in this example, hopefully they've got good credit to piggyback on, and they will continue to have the good behaviors in the future of paying off their bill on time in full is definitely ideal. But at the very least, of course, you need to make sure you're making your minimum payments. You need to be, doing everything so that it won't harm or damage, of course, the credit history of the authorizing person as well as the authorized user. You don't want to do all this system to potentially harm someone's credit. So you got to continue on into the future where the authorizing person, in fact, demonstrates good behavior and does their part of the deal to, in fact, boost up not only their own credit but someone else. So, for example, their child. So that doesn't necessarily have to just be like a parent-child relationship. It could be a good personal friend, and you have to really trust them. Maybe it might stick to something of just like a relative, something where you have an element of trust, where of course you're trusting their credit behavior, paying their bills, paying it on time, and ideally paying it in full so that they can really not get hurt by the whole credit card system. A whole video on Are You a Credit Card Person? So maybe check that out as to some of the things that I'm talking about and considering about the elements of using credit cards. The whole idea here is, there's an element of trust. It doesn't have to just be a parent-child relationship, but you could reach out to an uncle or something when you're later in life and you're like, I'm struggling with my credit and I can't be approved for these various cards. Maybe kind of a hack I can go through is approaching, say, an uncle or someone that you truly trust. Maybe that might be the example that is a better fit for you. But now that I've mentioned a little bit something of an example, let me maybe go ahead and do another little kind of roll through of some of the benefits and also go through some of the risks. So I've already kind of mentioned a little bit as to being authorized on someone else's credit card. You sort of, attach on to their good credit So that could just give you a boost in and of itself. Sometimes some cards that allow to do this. Oh, and by the way, not every card will allow it. So you kind of have to figure out what cards will in fact allow this and for what age. So I'm looking at doing this for my young children. They're not of the age yet for some of the cards. I just looked into them, in fact, recently to see if I could add them to some of my American Express cards, and I found out that the cards in particular that I was looking at, they have to be 13 years old. They're not that age yet, so I got some time, but I might look at other cards that have no age restrictions, and there are some cards out there. So I'll let you do all that research. There's plenty of ways to go find all that out. In fact, you can even just call customer service of many of the credit cards that you have and just simply ask, hey, how can I authorize a credit? How on my credit card can I add an authorized user? And can I do that for one of my children, and explain the age? And they'll usually help you because they're incentivized that they want to add another user. Their thought there is, another user, another card holder gets them into their whole system, and of course helps them because more users on a credit card can, in theory to them, mean more spending. And of course they love it when you're up in up in the ante of how much you're spending. So that's to say, kind of go through the whole execution to make all this happen by getting a little bit of help from the customer service for any of these credit card companies. They'll help out, of course. But you really should think through. So let's go through some of the benefits. You get the added kind of credit boost for the person asking to be the authorized user, or if it's your children, they might not even know about it, and they're so young, and this whole thing is just something they discover later on, that in fact, oh wow, I've already got a head start when they reach the age where they're going to be using credit cards of their own or using credit in some form or fashion. Then in fact, wow, their credit score already is pretty bumped up because in fact they have a long track record, a long history of credit, and hopefully good credit attached to them. Some of the risks is that, well, now you've totally put a lot of the onus of making sure you have the payments made on the person authorizing a user. So it could be, kind of too much pressure in some situations, and it might strain a relationship. There might be all kinds of reasons that you want to kind of reconsider it. But on the flip side to that, as much as I'm going through benefits and risks, and you could put that in the risk category, I might actually consider that into some of the benefit, because it is like a forcing function. If I know I've got not only my own credit history to look out for, my own credit to be mindful about, but I in fact have the credit and being responsible in this manner for my children, I'm going to really make sure I'm going to make that payment, and there's nothing stopping it if I know it's going to be something I'm doing for my kids. So I like that forcing function. I see it as a benefit. You might not, but results may vary. So I think I've gone through a good number of kind of what this is, some of the benefits, some of the risks. Kind of goes a recommendation on kind of the mechanics of a tip is, utilize the customer service, the help of the credit card companies, so that they can in fact help set it all up. Most of the time it's probably easy just to do it online on your own. If you just search for, add an authorized user, and then of course you'll need all the info as to how to set that up, because they're going to have in their name, this is the person who's getting to be an authorized user, they're going to have in their name, in their own credit, everything set up. So it makes sense. Then you'll need to prepare with like their social security numbers, other things. So do a little bit of prep to make sure you've got everything to set it all up. And it's not too hard to do it. So go ahead and make sure this advice can be helpful. Maybe you already knew all this, and it just confirms that it's something you need to do and it reminds you about doing it. So hopefully it can be helpful. So that's all I got. I'm on the run.